G'day punters. Welcome to the Mailbags preview show for this Saturday at Flemington. We're going to touch on Eagle Farm as well, but Jack Dickens, we may as well start with the golf because the Open Championship is here and the caddy is back.
Yeah, very, very exciting week, especially, well, none of us are locked down at the moment, but it's pretty scary here in Melbourne, Mark Rhoden, and if you're watching this in Sydney, you're already fucked. So the beautiful thing about the Open Championship is it's one of the big four majors, but it's because in Europe, it's a lot more watchable to not ruin your sleep patterns as badly. So first bets will be out just about when this show goes. So if you want to get involved, it's completely free. Just head to the website, themailbag.com.au, click the link, sign up. Obviously, you'd hopefully already have the app. If you haven't, get that and just create an account. And we'll send out a bunch of bets this afternoon or like lunchtime, and we'll bet throughout the tournament. I think we backed John Rahm curls maybe after the first round of the US Open, maybe. Like the guy running it's very selective when he picks his spots for each golfer. I don't know how he does it, but he does a pretty good job of it.
Yep. All right, sounds outstanding. Flemington, the rail is out 3 metres from what I can gather. Just having a look at some of the historical data at the moment, should play relatively even. You probably don't want to be settling last if you've got the wrong tempo, but it should play pretty much even, so best horses should get their opportunity.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
But it's Flemington. It's the best. It's headquarters. Race 6, Jack Dickens. Looks an intriguing race. You've got DeGraves as favourite. $2.70.
Yeah.
Dice roll 440. Fundraiser 750. That's best available at the moment. But then you've also got Adelaide Ace. Canane's in the race. There's a few little sneaky ones. Django Freeman returns.
I don't know. Like obviously we're not bookmakers, but well, fuck. Tab went up 370 to Graves. It was like an old school victim black booker for me from the previous meeting. You know, because just should have just pulled the trigger straight away when it was in next. You know, back at Flemington, where else would you want one of Lloyd's horses? I reckon dice roll was a little bit shaky when winning. Ruby Saki went to Sydney and was shit, but that was a disgraceful track, bottomless Rhoden. So you could forgive that, ignore that. I thought dice roll was half playing, even though badly not suited at Flemington last start. Yeah, the way we price at the starting point, it's got dice roll favourite. That's not how it'll end up. I'll have to jig this around. I really like this to Graves, one from one. I don't like that it's not up in trip. I think the race therefore is probably going to end up a no bet race for us, and don't think there's a lot of tempo in it either. Again, which we saw last time, doesn't suit dice roll. Like I doubt Mellon goes forward on Django Freeman. Sierra Sue, maybe. Adelaide Ace from 11. Does he want to roll forward? And then if he does, he's going to drop anchor. Think we're due. Noblet's flying. 2 winners yesterday at Sandown. But even like Bartholomew Diaz, Canane. I don't think there's much tempo. I don't think that suits dice roll. I think DeGraves will start shorter than a 270 and probably win.
Okay. That's fair enough. I don't really have anything further to add. Let's have a look at race 7, which is down the straight 1,000 metre race, Dirty Thoughts with Jamie Carr, $3.30. Express Pass, $3.90. Space Boy for Mellon, $6 and $9.50 for Zach Cat.
It all makes sense because Peter's actually picked the races we're previewing, punters, and he's obviously just wanted to lead in there to race 7, Dirty Thoughts, J Carr. What a relevant name for you to read out on our show, Peter.
I did it for Loves 40 to 1. Play on. I've had about 4 hours sleep. I've been awake for about 20 minutes. What do you want from me? I'm just looking. I'm like a parrot.
I just want you to do you. I think we've got one here. Needs to run on. Probably gets back worse in midfield. Knocked off Zorro's Dream, who should have won last week at Caulfield previously. It's number 2, Express Pass. Matty Cartwright rides, claims 2. He's a chink here to the horse's chances. It's not a positive, but it's not a huge negative. Just got to sort of jump, find a spot, and get through his gears. Rails out 3. it you have to be incredibly unlucky or really, really bad to lose momentum with a rail out 3 down the straight at Flemington.
So
Only
what?
thing they can sort of do, these younger riders, is take too long to get moving through the gears.
So he's a chink because of his inexperience more than anything, or does he have a certain riding style that you think doesn't suit the horse?
Inexperience.
Yeah.
I really like that he's ridden the horse 2 other times,
Yeah.
which makes me keener to trust him here. I don't like the back and trip. I like that it stays at 1,000. Sorry, and that he rode it last start down the straight. But you can see the way you can just watch the big riders win straight races especially on the get back horses. It's very, very hard to time the run.
Yeah.
And it's a concern, but I think the price is really fair. I think this horse will start a lot shorter than what it is now, and keen to back number 2 Express Pass in race 7 for Nick Ryan, who's fucking airborne, and Matthew Cartwright.
Okay. That's a look at Flemington there. I don't know. It looks like a competitive meeting. It looks like there's some horses here that we're going to be seeing a lot more over the next couple of months. So I guess we're getting started in mid-July. Let's head up to Queensland. Curls, you want to have a look at Eagle Farm Race 4.
Yeah, I'm a little bit reluctant to pull the trigger on anything just yet. There's a bit of wet weather about, but race 4 interests me. It seems an interesting setup, an interesting race, where we see F Troop. Now F Troop, Golan used to train it. I think it went down to McAvoy. Tony McAvoy might have had it. Tried to stretch it out in trip a little bit. Yeah, he did have it. When it was in Queensland, it was a real speedster. When it went down to McAvoy, they sort of ride it a bit quieter and tried to stretch it out in trip. Ran really well in listed grade, down in Melbourne in the autumn last year. Anyway, it's back. It's in Queensland. Sort of rode it back first up. Bit soft in the market, ran accordingly. I just noticed on Saturday here, they've got the claim on with Kyle Wilson-Taylor taking 3 off. So it gets him in 51.5 and blinkers go back on. So I'm sort of anticipating this horse is going to be ridden for speed on Saturday, back like it used to be when it was in Queensland. There's another horse in the race there with a 3 kilo claim with Spirit's Choice, another horse that goes quick. So I'll be interested to see sort of if there's any rain around. F Troop probably won't run, but if it stays dry and it's a fast track, I reckon they'll just let this rip. And I think it'll probably get a little bit of market support because of it, and then that'll allow us to come into a couple of horses that map just to sit off it and hopefully get over the top of it. It's if we see Spirit's Choice and F Troop with 51 kilos each going, head and head over the 1200 at Eagle Farm, they won't be able to lift their legs the last furlong. I think it plays into the hands of a horse like Phantom Falcon. On the back up from the Ramornie, where it led and had its chance, it boxed on okay. This horse has a very close seconds over 1400 at Eagle Farm to the Harrovian, the cult figure from Queensland. So he's got the blinkers off, winkers on. So I can sort of anticipate that it might be the one just smoking the pipe in behind the 2 tearaway leaders here, and could be the one getting over the top late, Phantom Falcon. But we just want to make sure that the track's dry and both F Troop and Spirit's Choice will be going around, and I think we can find maybe Phantom Falcon off a good map, and even Pepe Le Pew is another one that can sort of sit off this tempo here and be suited. But we'll wait till Saturday to see what the final field's like and see if the track's firm and make sure everyone's running.
How much rain do they need though for this thing to be soft? Isn't it sort of
It's only about F Troop. Like the track could get 120 millimeters and be a good 4. But it's just a matter of whether F Troop runs or not. That'll determine the speed. So that's me interpreting the jockey engagement and the gear change on F Troop that they're going for.
He had a milestone, didn't he, yesterday? Tony Golan, or the day before.
The stable trained their 100th Metropolitan winner for the season, which I think was consecutive years. Which I'm glad that happened, because that sort of put a positive story in the headlines about the stable, which was good.
Yep. Okay. Very good. We've got a question for you, Curls, but before we do that, I thought I'd just ask one of my own viewer questions because this Saturday at Belmont, there's one race with over 10 horses in it. Like, it's small fields, I don't know what's going on, no idea why that's the case, given the weather's improving. Do you guys take any different approach when you're dealing with small fields? We're talking 8 horses or less, as opposed to dealing with a capacity field. Do you look for anything different?
I think Mark Rhoden gets the first call here.
Welcome to the show, Mark Rhoden.
He's muting and unmuting himself.
Unmuted myself for a start. Sorry, I wasn't listening. What was the question?
So when you're dealing with because obviously in New South Wales you deal with plenty of small field sizes. When you're dealing with a smaller field, say 8 or less runners, do you approach the race differently to as if it's a capacity field?
Well, it changes the map for a start. Not necessarily. What I don't like, what I find a struggle is when you get, like, there's a 10 horse field at Gosford today, which is now 4. So that's, you might as well have not done the form on that in the first place. No, I don't know. Look, I always start with a map. So no matter what the field side, that's sort of colouring my thinking before I delve into the figures. Just having an idea of where they might be in the run and what the pace might be like. So obviously the field size affects that, but that's not the only factor.
Okay. That's fair.
So you recommend you just have a box first 4 when there's 4 horse fields, Mark?
Well, you'll be having one, I imagine, in race 4.
Or should I just play the odds and evens in that instance?
Yeah, odds and evens in the field. Hank, you have to check the saddle clock numbers there. There might be an angle there.
How do you handle it, Curls? A smaller race, smaller field?
Oh, yeah, I just handle them all the same. It's just, the only thing that changes is there's the tempo. It's just map and tempo. It's the only difference. I don't know. I still don't. I mean, if it's still a bet, it's still a bet. Like if it's a 4 horse field and I've got one $1.30 and it's $1.65, I'm probably going to have something on it.
Yeah, I prefer them to be like over 8 and 9 runners, but above that, I like it when it's sort of 10 to 11 runners. Because if you like one, provided it's a competent rider, which half the time it is down here, they can put it in a spot where it can win. Whereas if you find, like, we go to Moonee Valley pretty soon probably, and if there's like 17 horse fields, just a barrier draw alone can ruin a horse's chances.
Yeah.
On the more tactical tracks in Victoria. So, yeah.
Okay.
Or they might be like a really wealthy rider who's just spent some time in Queensland and looked like a genius just because he got to the outside fence when no one else did, who overthinks fucking 1,000-metre races at Sandown, mate. It's a dogleg left, just jump and find a spot and just fucking finish the race off. Don't get stuck inside of the glad wrap. He glad wrap after the race. He whacked him.
Did he?
Yeah. Fuck.
Good advice there from Gladrup. Curls, we do have a question though. If possible, could Curls share with us a little of how the fuck he found Colpo di Tamburo in Brisbane Race 3 on Saturday? 51 starts, only 4 on soft, no map advantage, 1350 to 1300 to 1100, back to 1050. It was obviously a small unit play, but an impressive bet.
It reminds me of the time I walked into KFC and asked the Colonel for the ingredients to the secret herbs and spices.
How you just maintain this level of fucking like showmanship is something I fucking admire so much. Just nothing stops him.
Well, look, there's a number of factors. First of all, it was a down in class runner. Secondly, what caught my eye with him was on puntingform.com.au, you can see his last 200 was like a -6 for class last start at a track which I think was at Gatton or somewhere like that. It was a Gatton, so it was a track where you just can't like run time for class at all. And then I suppose when you work through the field and have a look, like I said, it was the worst race it had been in for some time. And another thing that you'll find on punting form when you have a look at, career peaks and things like that, it was a very similar sort of setup to and distance that he ran a career best in a race where I did map a little bit more speed than what there was. And on review, it was the best part of the track where it was positioned, and only needed him to get up on the speed and that sort of fitness that he had on his side and coming back in trip a little bit was suitable. So I knew the horse had run well at this trip in better grade as well, had been competitive in better grade, and was back to a winnable race, and only needed to be able to be ridden to use his fitness edge, and I suppose that's how it turned out in the end. So I hope that makes a little bit of sense. But you get to those races where you think you can find, but you've got to have a look at those races and try and find something that only has to run to what it's done before to win. And if it is in the type of form that it can run to that similar sort of figure again to be competitive. So it's not about trying to find something 2 years ago when it's gone off the boil and its last three were complete dog shit. Like it had a good figure for this field to beat this field, and its previous few runs, were good enough in good form races. So
there we go. Makes sense.
Hope that's okay.
Can
Very
just be that
generous.
easy. Yep.
And that's how you make a zinger burger.
I love Zinger. I think
Right.
Uncle Chris every time. Yeah.
Uncle Chris back in winners and eating Dirty Bird. Alright guys, thank you very much for joining here on the preview. Mark Rhoden will be back tomorrow with Mark Sheen to preview the meeting from Randwick. I think. I'm always guessing.
Yes, it is Randwick, and we've got the provincials at Goulburn. It's a Illawarra Turf Club meeting at Goulburn. So transferred, but we'll have a look at that as well.
Okay, sounds beautiful. Alright guys, go well.
Bye for now.